So these are two scenes from the play All My Sons by Arthur Miller. It was written in 1947, and the play follows the Keller family, which includes Joe Keller, his two sons Chris and Larry, Larry's ex-girlfriend Annie, and Joe's wife Kate. So it all takes place in the Keller's backyard in one night, and Larry has been missing for 3 years. And Kate still believes somehow that he is alive since he went to war. And the rest of her family and Annie just don't believe that, and Kate just tries to convince them. And Chris is in love with Annie and wants to marry her, and his father, Joe, has some issues with that just because his mother is still so obsessed with the fact that Larry is alive and it's wrong to do to Larry to marry his ex-girlfriend, and tragedy ensues. It's a sad play. He's not dead. I would feel it if he was dead. In this first scene, Chris talks to his father Joe about his mother Kate and how he plans to marry Annie.
Going to say, maybe we ought to tell her before she sees it.
She saw it.
When? I was the first one up. She was still in bed.
She was out here at 4 in the morning when it broke.
What's she doing up at that hour?
I don't know, but when I came downstairs and looked out, she ran back and cried in the kitchen.
She cried hard.
I could hear her through the floor of my room.
She's dreaming about him again. What's that mean?
I don't know the meaning of it. But I know one thing, Dad.
What?
You made a terrible mistake with Mother.
What?
Being dishonest with her. That kind of thing always pays off, and now it's paying off.
What do you mean dishonest?
You know Larry's not coming back, and I know it. Why do we allow her to go on and believe that he is?
What do you want to do? Argue with her?
I don't want to argue with her. But it's time she realized that nobody believes Larry's coming back.
How are you going to prove it? Can you prove it?
For God's sake, 3 years? Nobody comes back after 3 years. It's insane.
To you it is, to me, but not to her. There's no body in that grave, so where are you?
Sit down, Dad. I want to talk to you. She is not Larry's girl. According to Mother, Larry's still alive, and you have no right to take his girl. To hell with that! Have you asked Annie yet? I was waiting until we settled it out with you. And then we'll thrash it out with Mother.
For all you know, she feels the same as Mother.
From her letters, it seems like she's forgotten all about him.
You never see enough women.
Not fast with women.
I don't understand why it has to be Annie.
Because it is!
You haven't seen her since the war. It's 5 years. Chris, you marry that girl and you're pronouncing Larry dead. What'll happen to Mother?
I don't know.
In the second scene, Kate tries to convince Annie to not move on from Larry.
See dinner down by the shore. Raise hell like we used to before Larry left.
You think of him. See, you think of him.
What do you mean?
I just mean he's in your thoughts.
Well, how could I help remembering him?
Did you hang up your things?
I did. Chris has a lot of clothes.
Oh, no, don't you remember? That's Larry's room.
You mean they're Larry's?
Didn't you recognize them?
Well, it just never occurred to me that you The shoes are shined.
Well, yes. I've been aching to have a nice conversation with you, Annie. Tell me something.
What?
I don't know. Something nice.
What do you want to know, Kate? Let's gossip.
Your mother, she getting a divorce?
Oh no, she's calmed down about the whole thing. I think her and father will live together once he's out of jail in New York.
That's nice. Your father is a decent man after all is said and done.
I don't care. She can take him back in if she likes.
And you? You go out much?
You mean am I still waiting for Larry?
Well, no, I don't expect you to wait for him, but...
If that's what you mean.
Well, yes.
Isn't that ridiculous? You don't really think he's...
Don't say it's ridiculous, because I don't know about New York, but there was a half a page in the papers about a man who turned up missing longer than Larry, and he came up from Burma.
So I've heard.
Deep in your heart, you've always been waiting for him.
No, Kate.
But deep in your heart, listen to your heart, only your heart,
What in your heart tells you that he's still alive?
because he has to be.
But why, Kate?
Because certain things have to be. That's the way it is. The sun has to rise in the morning. It has to be. That's why there's God. Otherwise, anything could happen. But there's God, so certain things can never happen. Like the day Chris went into that terrible battle and he didn't write me. It wasn't in the papers, but I knew. I couldn't get my head off my pillow all day. Just ask Joe. And I knew it. I knew it. You know I'm right, Annie.
No, Kate.
I have to have some tea.
Hello. Welcome to my backyard. I'm Joe Keller. It's from the sink. Mom? That's Larry. I just thought if I did a spit take, it'd be really fun. I'm about 60 or so. I work in a factory. I never had none of that school stuff. I had 2 sons. One of them's dead. And this here tree is planted in his memory. It's an apple tree.